Hello and welcome to me building my VFL team. Now, if you haven't built your team already, but it's still before the start of Masters Toronto, then quickly go and make your VFL team. I will warn you though, you need to be careful with the team builder. What I would suggest is whoever you want your IGL to be, pick them first. Have a think, scroll through the players, have a think about who you actually want first, then pick your team. Because there are some bugs in the team builder right now, so whether you'll be able to fully change your team or not, I'm not sure. Also, don't click bench for players because it will break the website as well. So just know that because there is no bench. So yeah, here we go. Building my team, and basically in this video, I'm actually going to decide later on stream exactly what team I'm going to do, but I'm going to give you two theoretical teams that I've had a thought about and think, yeah, that seems like an idea that I kind of want to pursue. The first one is what I'll call the safe team, okay? The safe team is this, right? It would start with someone like Zekken, so you see how it gives Zekken the IGL straight away. So just kind of think about who exactly you want to bring in here. Then it would have, in terms of the initiators, again, we're thinking about we're looking at who can potentially be a cheap initiator. Initiators tend not to get the most points, and someone like Ardscene here, nice and cheap, I think is, been in a lot of my drafts because he looks, I think, like the best kind of very cheap option, right? And MIBR, could make it through Swiss. I don't think that's impossible, so I've gone for Ardscene just there. In my controller role, again, playing it safe, who is someone that I feel pretty good about, a team that I feel pretty good about, that is Bang, right, for 8.5. Again, expecting Sentinels to do pretty well overall, and Bang has been absolutely frying as well, right? Then over here, interesting one, just here, you've got some decent Sentinel choices overall, but again, if we're thinking about who do I think will make it through, who do I like quite a lot, I'm looking at Benji Fishy here at 8.5. Team Heretic should be pretty good. Benji, I'm hoping, he can start frying. And I've still got 14.5 left, which just means I need to be on the cheaper side overall. And so if we take a look at some of the cheaper options down here, of course, we don't want to pick any kind of, playoff players. So any of the RRQ players, for instance, aren't going to be available to us. But if we take a look at who else is available to us, at the 7 cost here, I think you're looking, here basically at, we could go Genom, but we've already got an MIBR player. Do I want to double up on MIBR? Not really. So actually in their first game here, Russia against Team Liquid, I think could do okay as one wildcard. And then potentially as a second player here, we now have 7.5 to spend. And looking at our options at 7.5, again, I don't really want double here of MIBR. Could go Munchkin. Don't love that. Can't go John because we've already got 2 Sentinel players. But I think I'm looking at these 2 Paper Experts, and I think Devi is probably my best option. And so this, I think, is a kind of safe, nice team that I think could get multiple players through the Swiss stage and could be all right. Now, I think that team will do pretty well, but I do think it is quite safe. And a part of me really does want to go in a bit of a different direction. And that is, I really, really, really want to pick YZ. A part of me has really, really wanted to pick YZ this whole time because I think the BLG will beat Liquid. And I mean, coming into this tournament, he has the highest KPR of any player. So 11.5, if you're just looking at that stat, you would think that YZ, could absolutely fry here. Right now, of course, this means that I do want to go double duelist, because am I certain that YZ and BLG will get through? No. Right? And again, you want to put those players of teams that you're not as sure on, you want to put them in your wildcard spot, by the way, because then if they don't go through, you'll have more options to change them later on down the line, right? So, will BLG go through? Not necessarily, but I think YZ could still fry, even if they don't go through. But that means that I'm going to have to get a cheaper duelist, right? Because if I go for another expensive duelist, I'm just not going to have enough money to spend, basically. So looking at the options, I thought, what about something? What if we believe in a bit of a something comeback and go for a cheap duelist there? Yeah, he's not always playing duelist, which is part of the reason why he's quite cheap. He also didn't have a great stage 1. But what if we put him in there as our duelist? And again, for the initiators, as I kind of said before, Ardscene I just like, cheap initiator. Just seems like the best option out of these, to be honest. Unless you believe, to be honest, genuinely, I know the Wolves thing is a bit of a joke, but genuinely, if you believe that Wolves could actually do okay, maybe they lose to Sen, but then you think they might win a game. Yukor actually, I think, is a pretty good option at 6.5 because he's probably going to play maybe some chambers, some aggressive roles in there. He is pretty good. So I actually think he's a decent option, but I still personally think overall Ardscene is just a little bit safer. And will allow you to do a little bit more. And then we can still stick in Bang, right? You could, and I did think about this, kind of swapping this around by going, instead here, you could go for someone like Boo and swap art scene for narrate, right? So you're basically just swapping, do you want to go Boo and narrate, or Bang and art scene? I think Bang and art scene is a little bit better, even though Boo has a better chance of going through. I still think that, you know, this is okay. And then again, you're playing kind of safe here with the double sentinels by picking up someone like Zelsis, who, you know, again, you're expecting to go through. Will Zelsis get the most points? You know, probably not, but again, cheap, right? Should go through, like, kind of a safe pick. And that gives you 8 to spend for this final slot. And when you take a look at who costs 8 here, well, you know, all of these 3 start in the playoffs. So you're either looking at someone who's 7.5, but I do think that Foxy9 is a decent choice here. And this is kind of a more aggressive, you know, kind of out there, kind of believing in YZ kind of team that I think could do okay. But if you want to see ultimately what I'm going to go for, then head on over to my stream, which I'll be starting pretty soon after this video goes live. So come and hop on.